Hey, good morning, my friends. MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrosa here with the MLive Morning Weather Update. I'm going to give you quite a bit here. You know I don't sugarcoat it. If you get bored with me, I guess just do the scroll or whatever you do to get off. We're going to start with, we all have what I'm calling a snow situation to discuss. The west shoreline of lower Michigan is getting hit hard right now with a very interesting type of lake effect snow. I call it a southwest flow lake effect event. It's kind of rare because usually a southwest wind brings warm enough air to kill the lake effect process. But when you've been way below zero and the southwest wind kicks in, it's still cold enough. And we found that it's a very vigorous, robust type lake effect snow. It's a 3 to 6 inch burst in about 6 hours, and they're seeing that right now along the shoreline. So if you had to go from, say, Grand Rapids to Traverse City today, 131, not going to be perfect, but not going to be terrible. But 31 will be the area hammered with the snow, and it's getting that way right now. Muskegon, maybe. I've seen some images out of Manistee County. Plow truck is off the road, and you know it's bad when that happens because it's wind and it's also blowing and drifting. Now, for the rest of us in lower Michigan, there's a cold front coming southward that's going to latch onto some of that moisture off of Lake Michigan and drift into the rest of lower Michigan, and it will be fairly light snow. Tomorrow morning, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Flint, Lansing, Saginaw, you might have an inch, you might have 2 inches toward the Saginaw area, and so you could get this, not really a snowstorm, but you could get some slick roads. So that's why I say we all have a snow discussion, and I'll go over that with you. Then we've got the transitioning flow from deep in the throes of a polar vortex to more of a westerly flow and a wetter flow, and that moderates the temperatures. But I do want to emphasize that we still have 2 glancing blows of the polar vortex to come in over the next 7 to 10 days, and winter is still here strong. Just because I'm talking about somewhat of an upper air pattern change, it does not mean that it's winter's done. Winter, we got it full bore here. It looks like right on into February. Okay, so here is the watch warning map. The pink is the winter storm warning, mostly through the middle of the night tonight, and it starts at Ottawa County, west of Grand Rapids, up through Muskegon County, up through Pentwater, Ludington, that's Mason County, Manistee County, Benzie County, Leelanau County. That's where that southwesterly flow lake effect event is strong, and also in the eastern part of the UP. And what you should get out of this is any county that is not shaded, you're probably okay. Yeah, you're not perfect with -5 to -10, but I drove around the Saginaw area yesterday and the roads were dry. Now, Grand Rapids, you're on the edge of this, and as the winds go from a southwest to a west to a northwest lake effect snow, then it drifts in a little bit inland tonight and tomorrow, and that's where the winter weather advisory is from, north of Grand Rapids, down through the Grand Rapids area, and into the southwest corner. Again, the rest of the state not under any sort of advisory, and just kind of a sneaky little slick period possible for tomorrow. There's a lot going on the satellite picture right now. Hey, good morning, Larry Pusker, Sterling Heights. I've never been to Sterling Heights. What is that like? Is there a downtown? Walkable? Hey, good morning, Cherry Hetrick from Gladwin. You've been cold. Yesterday morning, -19. Carlos Hernandez. That's a funny statement. I have no idea what it means, but it's funny. Thank you, Carlos. So there's your satellite imagery, and what do we get out of it is we don't really get any sunshine today. Here is the radar. Kind of tells the tale. Let me get you a better view here. I have to adjust this stuff for broadcasting because we do it on the fly. We do it well, I think, at MLive, but we don't pay the thousands of dollars that the TV stations pay for graphics systems. And that works out nice because we can stay nimble. So what you're getting here is that you see the darker blue approaching the shoreline. Now, a lot of this southwest flow type lake effect does not show up really well until you get up to off the coast of Leelanau County and up into Mackinac and Chippewa County. And then it's heavy. And also, Saginaw, Flint, Lansing, Detroit, Ann Arbor. What you get out of this is that it's mostly dry, but you also see some blossoming of some snow showers, even in the Flint area. So what I'm trying to tell you is it's kind of a mess in the weather situation, but I'm trying to sort her out for you, okay? And we do that by the models, again, and the models are somewhat of a snowy mess, heavy along the shoreline in the Lake Michigan shoreline, and elsewhere kind of like, oh, it got a little slick here, what's going on type deal, a little sneaky snow. So here's that radar forecast. Let's take it to 3 this afternoon. Still mostly west side of the state. Still, I'm going to say Saginaw to Flint to the Thumb to Ann Arbor, Detroit, Jackson, Lansing, Kalamazoo. You're fine to drive today. This is 6 o'clock tonight. This is midnight tonight, and the cold front starts to come in from the north and work its way southward, and then light snow starts to develop around the Saginaw Bay City Midland area, into the Thumb, into Lansing, down to Jackson, into Ann Arbor and Detroit, 4, 5, 6, 7 tomorrow morning. Just be on the lookout. You might have an inch, and I always say the first inch is the most dangerous inch because everybody drives too fast on that kind of stuff. So wake up a little early tomorrow, give yourself some extra time wherever you're at. Now, then it translates to, on the west side of the state, it translates to a north-northwest type lake effect snow, and bursts of heavy snow roll down the shoreline from Manistee to Ludington to maybe into Grand Rapids and Holland. And again, I'm trying to tell you that there's a lot of subtle nuances. Maybe I'm making more of this than I should. One thing I want you to notice, our models now. We discovered a couple of things, I would say, in the 90s. The Southwest Lake Effect snows, robust along the shoreline, Muskegon up to Northport, Leelanau County, maybe even Petoskey. They would always surprise us. 3 to 6 inches, a 6-hour time period. What happened? It wasn't supposed to snow. They're robust. They're wind-driven because they come on a southwest wind, 20 miles an hour. The other thing that we discovered over time with better satellites, better radar coverage, are these amazing lake-induced mesovortexes. And that is, as the cold air comes down Lake Michigan, it starts a swirl. It becomes a mini storm system. And these things come on shore, and you go like, what is going on? You feel like you're in the biggest snowstorm ever. Now, our models are high resolution, and the modelers have been able to model these mesovorts physically, and you're actually going to see one on this model, this radar forecast. And what I say to you there is, watch tomorrow. The situation is perfect for a mesovort to come down the coastline of Lake Michigan somewhere, and you get another 3 to 6 inch burst of snow. Meanwhile, inland, folks are saying, we got like 2 inches of snow on the ground and I'd like a statewide snowstorm, and that's still not slated in the next week or so. But we'll look out a little bit farther. Am I wearing you out? Am I giving you too much weather? Do you want me to just stop now and say if it's going to be partly sunny on the weekend? I can do that. Mike Stonex, great report here. Snowing hard in North Muskegon right now, 10:45. Great big flakes too. Excellent report, Mike Stonex. This is what the Southwest Lake Effect events bring. Yesterday, it was real fine flakes in the Arctic air. Snowed all day long in some of those places, 1 inch. Then, as I might really overwhelm you with this one. Then the dendritic growth zone That's the area in the atmosphere where the flakes are born. Now are dendrites, big fluffy flakes. VJ Shisadri. Good morning, Mark. How does it look travel to Big Rapids from Chicago tomorrow? Okay, well, we're right there. VJ, I'm sorry, that's what it is. So here's your radar forecast. Western part of the state, northwest part of the state, Muskegon, Ludington, Manistee, eventually Traverse City. A mess today, and then we go into tomorrow morning. VJ, how's it look from Chicago to Big Rapids? Not terrible all the way. Chicago around the south end, probably okay. You may run into something as you head toward Grand Rapids and Big Rapids, and that's the way it is in the end of January. Plug through it slowly and you'll get out of it. Here's that mesovort coming down the shoreline tomorrow afternoon, swinging through the southwest part of the state. Okay, Kelly Hall, great report. Fruitport area also experienced a snow globe type snow. Loads of big flakes coming down quickly. Thank you. Hey, good morning, Adrian and Julie Chandler. And I got to try this one. I think it's a fellow Italian, Antoinette Zanotti. Good morning. Us Italians like all of our vowels, don't we? Thursday. Now, again, east side of the state, really not much. We'll go. Let's see. I'm getting long-winded, so let me keep going here. You know, good thing the consultants haven't gotten hold of me on the internet yet. They'd say, hey, keep it down to 30 seconds, guy. What do I look forward to in Ann Arbor, Cammie Abram? You look forward to, I would say, an inch of decorative flurries tomorrow morning. Sterling Heights, maybe an inch. So here's total snowfall, and it just, as we run it through the day to midnight tonight, it shows you where it will be treacherous. Northwest of Grand Rapids, Fruitport, Muskegon, Ludington, Pentwater, Manistee. Again, that's what I'm saying, 131 rather than 31 today. And note that the east side of the state, nothing. And then we go to a little bit longer, farther out model. Shows the same deal. Middle of the night, we get this cold front. You can get that idea swinging through tomorrow morning all the way into the southeast, and then it transitions back to lake effect and back to heavy bands. This is tomorrow night, and Muskegon to around the Grand Rapids area to Kalamazoo and Northwest Flow. When does it finally break down as far as lake effect? About noon Friday, it fizzles off. Okay. Here's that model with its snowfall totals, and I like it. Sometimes it does better on these southwest snow events. This is through midnight tonight. There you see it. So it's a 3 to 6 inch burst. VJ Shashadri, I want to get that name right. I'm struggling with that. You are welcome. Be careful. Give yourself time and keep your eyes ahead for the not so smart drivers. Tomorrow, we go through tomorrow, and again, Chicago up to Big Rapids, not much, a few bands to go through. Saginaw Bay City, Midland, the thumb, 1 to 2 inches of snow. Far southeast, Ann Arbor, Detroit, less than an inch. And we go into Friday, and we start to see just limited snows. Okay, now you are getting it all, folks, and it's my fantasy. At least I can give you the weather the way I should, right? So we got that little snow situation out of the way. Have I lost everybody? Let's see how many people we got. We still got 200 people. All right. Thank you. We are going to be improving the Facebook Lives by the way. I'll have more details on that. We're meeting on it tomorrow. We're going to be improving it. And it's not going to be improvement that's going to be a degradation. I'm going to stick up for you. And MLive will too. We're all on the same page. So it's going to be improvements for all of us coming. Okay? Boy, I don't want to sound political, but I almost wanted to say make Facebook Lives great again or something like that. I don't know. So now transition to a west, maybe at some point early February, southwesterly flow in an active storm track on the cold side. We should get into some statewide snowstorms. We have not had one yet this year. We have not had a Detroit gets snow, Ann Arbor gets snow, Flint, Saginaw gets snow, Grand Rapids gets snow, Traverse City gets snow. We haven't had anything like that. But I do want to caution you that we still have glancing blows of the polar vortex. We have probably had our coldest air of the season so far. That polar vortex there, the glancing blows will probably bring us back close to that, but I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to look at the upper airflow. We're going to look at 15,000 feet up. Remember, this is what I say. I always say, if I wake up and I'm on a deserted island and I got to get some people off on a boat and I got one weather map to use, I'm using this one right here. Okay? So 15,000 feet up, any little ripple in it is a disturbance. Here is our next front coming through tomorrow from the north. Glancing blow. Note there's another bend up there. Glancing blow Sunday or Monday. Each one of these maybe drops the temperature in the morning and brings it back a day or so later. Then end of January, January 28th. Middle of next week, flattens out a little bit, but there's another little glancing blow. And then as we get toward the last day of January or early February, the polar vortex retreats a little bit. It's still there to what we call dumbbell around back at us in a week or two after that. So it's not done. But as we go out into February 5th, a whole different look. Storm track from the west-southwest, that can contain moisture, and that can be what us meteorologists call interesting. So here is the surface look from that same model, and what I just want to show you here is that there is no large-scale storm system slated for the state. We go into next week, we start to crack the freezing mark occasionally, and then these fronts come through and drop our temperatures back. Now I'm at January 31st, and I still am looking for sometime in the first week of February, I'm looking for the flow to change, and we start to see the Colorado low pressure systems come out and give us the moisture. One last thing for you, because I know I have exhausted you. If you're still with me, and you are, it says 200 people, I just gained 2 people, you should give yourself a weather gold star. You have endured a real weather, we'll call this a weather discussion, not a weather briefing, not a weather forecast, okay? So here's the easy one for you. I'll let you off on the easy hook, and that is temperature forecast. High temperature forecast. We are going to get out of the deep depths of the Arctic cold. Today it's still cold, colder in Detroit and Ann Arbor at 12 than it will be in Manistee at 26. Remember, the lake water is still 35 to 40 degrees, so you get a southwest flow, a little warmer, and it's warming up. Then Thursday, highs in the 20s. That'll feel balmy. Back a little bit on Friday, highs in the teens. Saturday, back up, highs near 30 degrees, 25 to 30, let's call it for Saturday. Sunday, back down a touch into the 20s. And early next week, it appears as though we will have a couple of days that crack the freezing mark, get to 35, get our roads back, get our driveway back, get the back sidewalk going into the kitchen so you don't fall on your you-know-what. And 30th, 31st, we know the problem with the European is that it likes to be cold way off in the end, so we won't really dwell on what it says way out there, but just know that early next week we do get out of the depths of the Arctic plunge for a few days and probably get back to seeing our driveway and our sidewalk. If you got older parents and you feel bad because you haven't gotten over there to chip the ice off, it'll get soft some point, maybe Saturday, definitely Monday or Tuesday. You can chip it all off. Start fresh, because we may need to start fresh from what I'm seeing as we go into February. Whew, how about that? See, I'm used to this. I'm in shape for these kind of weather forecasts. You're going to have to do some push-ups and some sit-ups to get in shape for these kind of things. This is just coffee. I haven't had any Bloody Marys. I haven't had nothing. Sometimes it just happens. All right. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Hey, thank you very much for joining me on the MLive Morning Weather Update. We're working always for improvements for you. Improvements when I bring it to MLive, just so you know. Improvement number 1 starts with accuracy. Accuracy, and then improvement number 2 is always, in my mind, the way I deliver, and MLive delivers the information to you. So I'll shut up now. You have yourselves a great day, and take care.